Continuing our look now at the best in children's television. This morning, the new kid, or dinosaur on the block.
Saw the big purple reptile that kids can't resist.
The big purple dinosaur.
It is a dinosaur.
Teaches about love, and it just kind of like soothes the kids.
And always, there's that signature song.
Here we are, Purple Tales Podcast number 4. I am your co-host, Nancy J., and the host, of course, is Carey Barney Stinson.
How are you, Nancy?
I am fine. Carey, how are you? And the more I hear those 3 notes, the more excited I get.
Isn't it amazing how that song will touch you? In fact, we had during the week a child named Blake who sang us the I Love You song.
I saw that.
And so I was able to talk to Blake.
His mom sent us that. Now tell me a little bit about Blake, one of our fans.
One of our fans from the early days, and got touched by seeing Purple Tales and talking about Barney again. And he sang the I Love You, and so I got to talk to him. And I found out, of the 3, Baby Bop was his favorite.
Well, it's always Barney and Baby Bop, Bop and Barney. And I when we had Jeff Ayers on, who was Baby Bop, he said it should be called the Baby Bop Show, rather than Barney and Friends, right? But there are so many wonderful characters and wonderful people. But before we get into that, I want to talk to a little bit about some of these great comments we've gotten from people so far, and kind of this fan base.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The fact that even though this is our number 4, we've been doing this now, this is our 4th, it's going to live in infamy. In fact, your birthday is going to be on forever online and at purpletalespodcast.com and all of the different podcast outlets. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
How old are you?
So, any other questions that you want?
Oh, okay. I know. I shouldn't. That's rude, because then you'd ask me and then I'd have to mumble too. So no.
I know better than
I know. Well, that's
like
good.
That.
No, but I mean, let's put it this way. You were Barney for how many years?
I was Barney for 22.
Okay, so we know you're at least over 30.
And I started when I was 23. So
okay. So
you start putting the math together.
53. Okay. Well, I'm not that very good at math, but I think you look great.
Thank you.
I think this has just become. I mean, you're a photographer now by trade, but this has really just become a big thing for you now. People want you everywhere.
It's been amazing, and I can't even tell you how special to hear from the fans and hear how much this means to people, because it's always meant so much to me and to all of the Barney people. I can't even tell you all the Barney people that I'm hearing from and how much they love it. We've got so many great guests coming up.
And you're saying the Barney people,
from the tour,
they're the ones,
and from the TV show, and just all of these who are my friends. It's just been so
But the
amazing.
fans are amazing. Canada, apparently there's a huge Barney fan contingency to our north.
Yes, I've done 2 interviews last week in Canada. So
isn't that great?
It's very exciting.
Well, I want to go over some of these notes. Now, this is off of our YouTube page, which is, of course, purpletalespodcast.com on YouTube. And for example, we have this Tristan Murphy. He said he was growing up and he actually met Bob West. Now, Bob is the voice.
Yes.
Your voice at some point.
He was the original voice, yes.
So, and he said he was so nice. And he says it's extremely awesome that Carey is coming out and talking about his time as Barney with passion and heart.
Well, thank you very much.
So thank you to Tristan.
Thank you to Tristan.
And I'm patting us on the back. Great job. We love you. It's interesting. We get a lot of comments from Soulja Rob. And he loves the show. So hey, Soulja, Soulja boy. And Soulja Rob is saying he'd like to have Ricky Carter on. That he's a rapper now in Texas. Who is Ricky Carter?
He is. He played Derek. He was one of the kids in the early days of Barney, and I've already booked Ricky Carter, so he will be on coming up.
Oh my gosh! Okay,
and can't wait to see him. It's been a long time,
and maybe he'll rap
since
for
I worked
us.
with him. He might.
Isn't it? It'll be interesting to find out if his rapping, if his background in music began. Obviously, it might have through Barney and the music as a kid.
Yeah, it's what's so fascinating about this is what the things that I'm learning each week that I didn't know. What people that I spent so much time with.
Oh, okay.
No, just each week, Courtney, I learned stories about her last week, and it's just fascinating.
And here's one from Lynn. What are Barney dolls? Were there Barney dolls? I said, wouldn't that be fun to appear on the show?
Oh, I think they're just referring to
Just
all
the Barney.
plush
All
and
the, okay. Okay. Here's someone who started watching when he was 2 years old. I mean, this is 2 years old. So, I mean, you got him young.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so let's see. We have someone said another terrific episode. I guess that makes sense.
Yes. I want to do a big jump.
Because that's what Barney,
yeah.
he
would jump. Yeah, T-Ray. I want to do that.
Okay. Let's see what else I've got. He goes, oh my, here's RX Can. Oh my God, I didn't know Barney had a podcast. I was born in 1989. Barney wasn't big then, but he had a home video series, and he's been watching that. He goes, I love you. Bring him back. That's what a lot of people want to do, is they want to see Barney back.
Well, Barney never went away. He is still there. He is still there. Universal Kids, Amazon Prime, so you can still find Barney. And as you can see, we're all still here.
And you know, it's interesting because working on Barney
yes.
for 22 years.
Yes.
That changed your life, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that was your job.
Absolutely.
How would you
say
it
I didn't feel
changed?
it was a job.
Okay,
No.
so how do you think that molded you?
It made me look at the world differently. You know, when you see a child that is shy or sick and they light up because of this amazing purple dinosaur that loves everyone unconditionally and can just have fun.
Isn't that something?
It's incredible.
And I know that I've listened. You've done so many different interviews. I have heard, listened to some of them that you've done now all over the country. And I think one guy even said, he goes, you know what? When Barney started, oh my gosh, it made me crazy, the music. But I get it now. You know, he said he got it now.
Right. Well, I think it was difficult for people to, especially adults, to understand that we were only entertaining the children. This was not a show for the adults. It was for the children. Other shows have done that, where they entertain the adults as well as the children, but ours was just focusing on the children.
And we were out at breakfast to do a little confab the other day,
yes.
and our waitress, you know, I said, hey, did your kids, or do you have kids, ever listen to Barney? She went crazy. I pointed you out, and I mean, I guess you get that all the time now. She didn't give you a free breakfast, but she was very excited to see you and meet you.
Well, and that's so much fun. And then, you know, we told her, well, guess who's coming up this week, who's coming up next week, who was here last week, and they're fascinated. And so that's why it's so exciting that we're on YouTube as well, so that people can see that you can listen to us, or you can see us and see.
And sometimes it's fun just to listen, just to have those visions in your head.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So, well, first of all, I mean, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. We'll probably talk more about your birthday in a little bit. But a really neat comment off of our YouTube site from James Fields. Hello, James.
Hello.
He has some names here. So I'm going to name these names and tell me who they are.
Okay.
And if we're going to get them.
All right.
Maurice Scott.
Yes, Maurice did one of the Barneys. He did some Barney work, yes.
Okay. Let's see. Josh Martin.
Well, I know him really well.
Yeah.
So Josh went on tour with me. So back in 1996, when we did Barney's Big Surprise, it was the big, the Barney's first tour. And it was a massive tour, and I went out as the lead. And we had a second Barney, and it was Josh Martin.
Wait, so on these tours there was actually more than one Barney.
There was costume changes, there was appearances on TV shows, there was hospitals, and as we found out after a while, it became so much, and then actually we started switching. So sometimes I'd be one, and sometimes he would be one, because it's such a physical show. And the most exciting part about Josh is that he's here today.
I guess I just need to look over to my right.
You do.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hi. Two Barneys.
Two
Do you know, I
Barneys.
know right now, you were probably looking and thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I was sitting in Nancy's seat right now. So, I mean, I'm going to let you two guys go at it. So, come on. What's going on with the two Barneys?
Yeah, boy, this is a special one for me.
Yes.
You know, we spent years on the road together, and so you're out there all the time. We had to depend on each other. If someone got sick, it was Josh or myself every night on a Broadway style show for 9 months. Josh also did the TV show, so he did a series of the TV show. He did all kinds of tours for Barney, and then he's had an unbelievable career, very interesting career after Barney. So We've stayed very good friends over these years, and it's so great to have him here.
So you were already doing Barney, Carey,
Yes.
when Josh came along.
That's right.
So Josh, how did you become Barney?
I had just graduated acting school here in Dallas, Texas, and one of the faculty members gave me a page on my pager for all you kids.
The part that you've got to tell here is, how did you get here to Dallas?
Oh, well, back up 2 years. 94, I moved here from Halton, Louisiana, home of the Bucks. You
Yes.
might know a
Who
young
played?
man named Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. He graduated from Halton High School.
And didn't you had the same coach?
We both played for Coach Rodney Guin. Great guy. Great guy. Yes,
That's
indeed.
great.
Yes, I'm glad to call Dak a classmate.
Well, Dak may be listening. Who
Dak,
knows?
what's up? Good work. Halton proud. All right. So, I moved here in 94 and graduated 2 years later from KD Studio. And I had just met with an agent and signed with them that morning when a faculty member from the school I graduated paged me to tell me about the audition. She didn't know I had an agent yet.
And Katie's, you'll hear a lot of that throughout. There's a lot of Barney people that went through.
Kim Dawson,
Katie.
yes, big name in Dallas,
Yes.
a modeling legend,
Exactly.
an acting legend, sure.
So
sure.
she had she still has an actor's
right,
conservatory here.
absolutely.
And she told me about the audition, and to be honest, I looked at her and I was like, mm-mm. And she said, what do you mean, mm-mm? And I was like, I don't want to do that. She's like, what do you mean you don't want to do that? I was like, I'm 21. I wasn't even 21, actually. I was fixing to be 21, and he was never on my radar for obvious reasons, and I was in a comedy troupe that was more along the lines of SNL or uncensored SNL, if you might, and I just didn't think that I would fit there. And she looked at me with these mom eyes that she had given me a couple of times throughout my school tenure, and she said, I think you need to do this. And so I said, okay, fine. I came to acting school. This is what you do. You audition for things, right? You audition. What? Okay, I'm going to do it. Done.
Nancy, you need to understand, when I started, there was no TV show. So Barney was so much more smaller. Barney had exploded by the time he's auditioning. So he's auditioning for something that was very big in America at that time.
What's a Barney audition like?
Well, I had 3 before
call
they
back?
finally.
I mean,
yes. The first audition, they played the theme song, and they just asked me, I think everyone, but they asked me to jump around and act like I was in the costume and entertaining children and the parents. And
Did you do some research? We didn't have the internet then, mainly, to kind of be able to Google Barney.
Yeah, I did not, but I can tell you that growing up, I was a huge Muppets fan. And for whatever reason, right before I walked in the doors, the Mana Mana song popped in my head, and I got this giant smile on my face because I love that song, and I couldn't stop. And so it was just, when they asked me to jump around and wave, and it was already easy. And then I left, and I thought, okay, cool, done. Where's the film audition, right? And by 5 o'clock that day, I got a call back. And my faculty member, she said, do you know what this is? I said, no, what? Because they didn't tell me anything. Just go audition for Barney. And then she told me about the tour, and I was a basically penniless, homeless acting student, hopping couches, doing
As opposed to a
jobs.
penniless, homeless musician, right,
Yeah,
Carey?
exactly.
Yes, you know it.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's why we get along.
Yes.
Yeah. So I came back and I did the same audition that I did previously, but we got in the costume to do it. And I got out. And I was trying to hold it together. Sloan Coleman, Lynn Ambrose, they were casting. And and they were saying, well, how do you feel? And I was trying to play it. I feel great. Pardon the sound guy.
See, we haven't gotten that from Carey. We haven't gotten that from Carey yet. That's interesting. Okay.
No, he got to ease into it.
Well, that's true. That's
well,
true.
and remember, I was a cross-country runner. So my cardio level, I mean, that was part of why I got the job. I was kind of built for that aspect of it. So
Okay.
I was 2 years into acting school.
You were an actor.
Yes.
And now
yes.
a Barney
right.
actor.
They actually told me to, when they called me back on that Friday, they told me to, I had 2 weeks to get in shape and lose 10 pounds. Bluntly. Thank you.
yeah.
How do you get in shape for Barney?
I ate chicken and rice for every meal. Not joking. It's all I could afford as well. And I rode my bike from Inwood to Motor in 35.
Here in Dallas.
Right.
Oh
right.
my,
Yeah.
that's quite a ways. And this
So-
was
so
before
you
there
know-
were bike trails.
Oh, I should not have done any of it. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I did. And I'd ride to Katie's studio, and one of the movement teachers, she was also a dancer, so she helped me dissect. They sent us a video of the Radio City
Yes.
live performance from
So you're
94.
watching Carey.
Yeah, David and Carey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, David Joyner was the lead on that show.
Okay.
So
And
just
me.
the beginning part there, and they wanted us to learn that. And as far as I could tell, I'm not trained or anything. I've got a little rhythm, but as far as I could tell, he was just jumping around. But the teacher helped me decipher moves and counts and things like that. So by the time I went back and got in the costume, I got out and they asked me how I was, and I said, I'm good. And, all right, well, thank you. And then I walked out and I said, and remember, I love you. And I got a big smile, and I don't know if that capped it. You'll have to ask Sloan if you ever get her in here. But
Really?
I did.
You really and truly did
I
that.
actually know.
Do you?
I do know. I'll never forget this. Sloan came to me and said, we've hired Josh Martin. I had no idea who you were. And she said he has the same heart that you do. I will never forget that. I will never forget that.
Thank you.
I kind of want to I just want to kind of let that marinate for a minute. That's amazing.
Because you cannot go out there as just a job. You cannot go out there and just doing it as just a job. I mean, you have to love and understand these children, or it just won't work.
Josh, I kind of think perhaps you thought of it just as a job at first once you were cast, because you weren't involved with the kids and the whole thing yet, right?
Correct.
Well, and
Yes,
I
that
did
is
too
a
when I
fair
first started.
assessment.
No, I
Yeah.
did too when I first started. But all of a sudden, you jump out in front of a bunch of these kids and you see the reaction, and it changes you very quickly.
So let's talk about the first time you two met. Was this on a tour or
No,
rehearsal?
it would have been
or-
in Las Colinas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been Las Colinas, studios of Las Colinas. We did a big introduction of every cast member.
Yeah.
Because I was the only one that had been with Barney. I'd been with Barney for over 5 years at that point, but everyone else was brand new. And then we did our audition. We did our rehearsals.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Learning the deal.
Yeah.
Usually an actor kind of looks at their understudy as just, you just learn me, or it's not, I mean, or the other person. I mean,
Sure.
so were you a little, were you afraid that Josh might take over?
No, I think there was definitely some concern of, did he see? I'd been for 5 years seeing these children, these reactions, and that's the most important thing for me. And I learned very quickly that, Sloan was right. He had a heart for it. He loved those children, and very much.
Pretty lucky.
Okay, you're on the road now. You're pals, you've rehearsed.
Yes.
Now let the fun begin. There have to be some wild stories, some good stories.
Great. Yeah,
Sweet
we got some great
stories.
stories.
Yeah.
Sure. Where to begin? Goodness.
There was a lot of laughing involved. A lot of laughing. He used to do a lot of voices, and he's a voiceover actor now. So he would have me laughing before those shows.
Can I say that we take the teeth out? Can we say things like that?
Yes.
So we'd
Please.
have to, if I'd sit backstage, we'd have the teeth out of the costume resting. And
we've got to think about the picture of Barney, and he's got those big old teeth, white teeth.
Right. So you can get air through the costume there. Right.
Okay.
Oh, secrets. Am I telling secrets?
Oh, here.
We might have to cut this.
Well, how about this? Please don't take this this is personal.
Mm-hmm.
What did you wear under the suits?
Silks, winter silks.
Winter silks.
Oh, that sounds really great.
Well,
what does that mean?
That's
what are
only
winter
So
silks?
what you would skiing, the silks underneath that you would wear skiing because it sucks up the sweat.
Mm-hmm.
Those costumes are very expensive, and to keep them going as long as they could. So we were already hot. Now we have to wear winter silks, so we're even just even a little bit more warmer.
And they didn't start that till I got on tour, as far as getting super sophisticated, good ones.
Yeah,
they were kind of like pajamas.
Yeah,
so you've got the two Barneys. So tell us about how this transpired. You're on stage, or when you're on stage, who was where when?
So we had, each dinosaur had one wrangler. So if I was going out as a dresser, so as I was going out as number one, let's say in a night, as soon as I went out and they'd make sure I was okay, then they would go back and get him ready for the change. So there would be a costume. Barney would go get in his car, and the car would come out, and it would be Josh, and that would allow me to get some water and breathe before I had to go back on.
In the same step, Barney would step off stage left in no costume, and then step on one step later in a full farmer's costume with a violin to do.
Or in a car, or
et cetera, et cetera.
Lots of different things.
Yes.
In a balloon.
Balloon, yes.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
So what was it like looking out at all those kids? Dozens, thousands, hundreds.
No, thousands.
Hundreds of thousands,
yeah,
right?
Thousands each night.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Yes. I never will forget one of the first times that I did the number one part. Right at the beginning, the smoke fills the stage and covers up the Barney plush that was sitting on the stool. And once the smoke fills, one of the roadies pulls the plush, and Barney jumps through the smoke. And in show business, I've since learned, but I learned it right there, it's called a pop, when you pop the crowd, right? And these guys had been on AC/DC, Tina Turner, I think Joe mentioned before, the Rolling Stones. I mean, tens of thousands of people in stadiums, and they're like, dude, that pop is one of the loudest I've ever heard. And I believed them, because when I jump out, it was it was a piercing, deafening scream. Not just the children, but the parents were just as excited, because they were invested to come. And
well, the child's been talking all week about going to the show and getting up early in the morning, or whatever it may be. Yeah,
it's not. I'm not talking about the money part of it. Is that they were as excited about doing it because their kids were so excited
and to see their kids.
It meant so much to them. It was it was crazy. It set the bar high from that point on.
I bet. So was there a point where you said to yourself, yeah, this is more than just a gig, an acting job? I mean, when did you start believing in the Barney magic?
Oh, I knew it was more than just a job pretty quickly. If I wasn't completely clear the first 2 weeks in Las Colinas, because it was just a big empty soundstage, and there was just tape on the floor. So I mean, it was a studio. There were things going on, but it's kind of whatever. We got to Fort Worth, and you saw gear moving and people going, and then I kind of, my eyes. I think it was a visible eye widening. Oh, okay, all right. Better hop on and hold on.
No question.
Right.
Did this Barney, Carey Barney, give you any tips? I mean, did you kind of bond in some ways over Barney, or was it just guys, pals on the road kind of thing?
I would say, as far as tips, one thing that I appreciated from Carey, as far as a fellow actor, and an understudy, and someone who's experienced, and I respected what he had to say, was that he never came to me and said, hey, you're doing it wrong, or you should do this, or you shouldn't do that, or what. He never told me anything, actually. He just led by example, and so I just watched him and tried to not screw it up, because I knew that they had already established it. I knew what it was already. And then when I got on the road, and after the first hospital visit, that was done.
We've talked about
done
this.
deal.
It's an unbelievable experience.
Well, tell us about that.
Well, to go through a hospital experience where you're probably, I don't know, a couple hours usually going from room to room and not knowing what you're going to go into, and seeing all the different experiences, the times that you can get excited and the times that you got to go slower, and some are really sick and some aren't as sick. And I can't ever remember someone not wanting Barney to come in the room. I can't remember anyone that just wasn't happy. And you just don't see much of that. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. And, we've talked about some of these stories. It's just, that's when we talk about change my life. That is just unbelievable. But every time I say that, I always want to make it clear, all those kids every day, right? It wasn't just the sick kids. The sick kids were incredible, but just all of the kids. You saw kids that were shy, that came out of their shell when they saw Barney. That they'd be standing next to their parents, and Barney would come in the room, and they'd come running to him. And the parents are just like dumbfounded, because they've never seen their child do that before.
What about some of your hospital visits?
Well, I can tell you that you remember that punk kid who told his faculty member he was too cool for school to do it, right?
There's one everywhere, right?
Yeah,
right.
I was him, and I was quickly humbled the first time, because you do a group sing-along downstairs for all the kids who can come out of their rooms and get some fresh air, and then you go up to each room to room, and you visit all the kids. And I've got a weak stomach to begin with, and it was kind of tough.
I can imagine.
It was a good thing I had a costume on.
I never thought about that. So they never saw you. They never see
And
you.
and I don't mean that. Never mind my weak stomach. That's not the point. That's not what I mean. I just mean that going in and just seeing some of the issues that people were going through, and this punk kid was not gonna do it.
I know we have a picture of you actually with at one of the hospitals.
Yes.
There's the big old Barney suit and kids in wheelchairs,
Right.
and
There it is.
And there are those teeth. Now I'm looking. I can see the teeth
Yes,
really
right.
well. So do you remember that specific one, that visit, or
Which
the
first
from the picture?
one?
From the picture.
Oh, this one here?
Yeah.
I think I can tell you that that's from El Paso. I don't know why.
Wow.
I think actually you can see on the back of that wheelchair.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no. That's Long Beach. That's California. Oh. Sorry.
Oh wow.
They run together.
Well, I know. I'm
but,
sure.
No, I learned a lot. It was great conditioning because I did a sing-along every time. I got to,
What did you sing?
Oh, it was 6 songs. Grandpa's Farm.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
I almost started singing Nancy. So
Go ahead,
She was
Carey.
looking at me.
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna-
You can
I was gonna do a
narrate.
little We're on the Way.
A little Carey music,
We're
little
on the way.
narration.
We're on the way.
On our way to Grandpa's farm.
We're on the way. We're on the way.
On our way to Grandpa's farm.
Very simple, right? I mean, everything's very simple because I know the words now.
Yes.
There you go.
Sooner or later, you'll start joining in on these sing-alongs.
Yes.
Josh,
Wait till you get some of the voices.
which
We will.
they're coming up.
Carey's
very
working
soon.
on that.
No, they're already booked and very
Okay.
excited. One of my later hospital appearances, Josh, if you remember this in Fort Worth, you actually wrangled me.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And it was a little baby, if you remember that. And we did performance, and I mean, we probably spent an hour and a half.
It was good.
It was
Wow.
long. I mean, I just went until I couldn't go anymore, and we got done. And I think the mother came to you and said, "The mother would like to meet you." And this woman grabbed a hold of me and just crying and couldn't be more grateful, because Barney's the only thing that has been able to make her child smile through everything. And I'm thinking, and I know you think this way too, well, no, thank you. Like, I wish I could have done more. I wish I could have gone longer to see that. It's an absolute blessing.
So you spent a lot of times off-road too. I mean, so when you were on the road in the show,
right,
with all the, trucks and buses and huge things, then you would also, after the show or before the show,
sure,
go and do all these other visits.
Sure, yes.
And then
Yeah.
TV in each show, in each city too. Good
PR.
Morning, whoever it may be. Yes.
Good Morning Miami, whatever.
Yes.
How big a show was this? I mean, physically, what was all involved?
Don't we have a picture of the trucks?
I think so, yeah.
So
five semi rigs, big trucks, 3 45-foot tour buses, 25 crew, 25 cast. That, there's the buses there.
Okay, yeah, they're tour buses. I mean, Barney, this was a tour.
Yes, indeed. Well, we got our bus from Garth Brooks. They were.
I was on that bus.
See,
back in the early '90s, and when he was doing his big tours. Seriously, those are nice. They're real. Those aren't bad. Okay, there you go. Look at I mean, you can't miss
rap
it.
Before rapping was cool.
You know what? The music is really rap, isn't it, for Barney?
Some of it is, yes. Barney's done some rap songs.
Really?
Yes.
See, we'll have to bring Joe back so we can.
There you go.
Oh my gosh!
Talk more about that.
Yeah.
It was before Barney was before his time. Huh.
He's multifaceted.
So I heard something about a fire on stage that you were involved with.
No.
No?
Not on stage.
Oh.
This
No.
is the one, and I've been getting this question all week on the interviews.
Then let's set it straight.
Let's set it straight here. And I mentioned last night that we had Josh Martin on to actually talk about this. It was he was doing the TV show, so he did a season of the TV show.
Yes.
Oh, so you finally did make it to be a TV star then, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And they had an incident with the costume.
Yes.
Oh, so Barney was that hot, huh?
He was, yes. One of the batteries inside of the head that ran a fan smoldered. One of the wires grounded out, rubbed the insulation off, and then ground it out on a bolt, and then started smoking in the head.
While you were in the suit.
Yes. We were almost going to film. We were about to film, but it was when they used videotape, so you couldn't just practice everything and then go back and delete it. You had to. We're going to record this. Better be good. So when you're taking multiple takes, you're wasting all of that tape. So they wouldn't roll tape until you're ready. So I was rehearsing, but I had the teeth in. I was ready to go. And the point is that when we were rehearsing, we wouldn't have the teeth in. I could turn the fans on because the fans wouldn't pick up on the kids' microphones. But when we rolled tape, I had to turn them off. The buttons right there. That's why I did that. I know that. That's not
physically,
a tick.
it's your head hit the on-off switch.
Exactly. So I turned the fans on because we were just rehearsing, and I was just standing still. And then part of the choreography was to take a step to the left, and when I did. What is that? And I looked out the mouth, and everybody was just kind of taking notes and going about their business as usual. Well, in the shot, there was some popcorn going to come out of the table in the treehouse. Scooter, the squirrel, was down below popping popcorn. It was going to come out. So I thought, oh, maybe it's the special, maybe it's whatever they're doing. I'm smelling. Okay, cool. Popcorn, it's really... And then I'd take another step. Look, nobody's moving. Okay. And then finally I had to take a big walk around, and I couldn't catch a clean breath at all. And so I was freaking out. And I ran off stage. yelling to get me out of it. And I was able to, by that time, I'd done it long enough, I was able to kind of take care of the costume myself, get it off. But when I ran was the first time anyone saw the smoke come out of the mouth and out of the fleece. And yeah.
And so because of that, they had to, call an ambulance. And as soon as you make an ambulance phone call over that radio, it goes everywhere.
The scanner days.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was in the ambulance, and I believe we were on our way to Parkland or Baylor, one of those. And they found, the producers and people from Barney found out that reporters were waiting for us at the hospital. So we went to a little bitty old on the side hospital.
You
and they
celebrities.
checked me out.
You were out of the suit, or were you in the suit when you got to the hospital?
I was out of the suit, but I was in my winter silks.
Yeah. It's a very sexy look.
Yes.
Oh my! So were you injured?
I was not. I just had a little smoke inhalation, and I was good. I have a prop. If anybody,
You brought a prop?
Yeah, actually, when I left the TV show and went back out on the road that fall, they gave me a little trophy of
I would love to
remembrance.
see this, and you've got to describe this for us.
This is my Oscar for being on the TV show, and if you can see down here, this is the actual battery
That's in the suit
and wire.
That's like is it like
this
an
is
8-inch?
the one that caught on fire right here. This is it.
Oh
This one
my!
right here.
But that's a pretty big. I've never seen. I mean, that's a big battery
Yeah, feel that.
And
there
it-
were two of them.
in your head.
Yeah,
We're-
that
we're-
didn't count the costume.
Okay, nice. I
This
love
isn't
this. This is
anything
very
for fun.
nice. I mean, but
It
wow.
sat back here. It sat in the back of the costume there. So the smoldering was happening back here.
Okay, and it
That's
just
why
came
I
up.
couldn't see it
Okay.
until I turned it.
So I've got two Barneys, two
Yes.
guys in the suits. Let's
Yes.
talk specifically about those suits. How did you get in? How did you get out? How much did they weigh? Any injuries just from hanging out in that suit?
Well, I'm not going to talk about how I got in and all that, but you know me, I don't want to talk about all that. But I will talk about some of it. It's a 50-pound costume, so I will talk about that. I will talk about the fact that it's an hour-and-a-half show, so as the lead, you're doing a good hour and 15 minutes or something of that nature. Yes, there were injuries. Shouldn't be saying this when my mom will be listening, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're doing that first year as the lead. It's 9 months that you're doing this show, 7 shows a week. And I actually lost, in the first 3 months, I lost over 30 pounds. And the producer called my mother and said,
I remember that.
yeah, she called my mother and said, please, I just want to prepare you for Carey. He has lost an amazing. I went down to 158 from 180 something.
Did you? Wow.
And we got home, and I didn't have a house or anything, so I just stayed with my parents because we were on the road. And I couldn't eat dinner. I went to sleep. I got up and I was sick. I was throwing up, and my dad took me to the hospital. I had to get 2 bags of IVs, and I slept for 1 day, through a whole day on the recovery level, because we were dealing with, and when I say that, they took amazing care of us,
Sure.
making sure we had everything, but it was just such a physical job. Mm-hmm. And I don't, we were both, I think 27, 28 at that point. So
So your mom fattened you up and you went back out.
went back out, and then I would lose the weight that I would,
Well, there may be a new workout video here. Working out with Barney.
Right.
But so Josh, your experience with the suit.
It was fun and crazy at the same time. Like I said, I loved Muppets, so this was kind of a fun. It was like no other Muppet thing I'd ever played with or explored, but the challenge was fun. Like, figure out how I can bring this thing to life and do the things that Jim Henson and those guys were able to do with just a sock, and ping pong balls. It just brought this, like, how do I do that with this big thing? And it's I like to tell this story because it brings people, it gives a new perspective for people that don't realize, but people always make fun of Barney like this, right? Well, the reason that it looks like
the little
that,
arms,
right?
the little arms we're talking about.
Between here and here is all space. The costume, the arms start there. So
so at your elbow.
The front of the arms that you see are only our forearms. So that's why it looks like that. But once you say that to people, people are like, right?
Yeah.
And so those kinds of things, you don't even think about it.
But Barney had those big, wide Barney bottom.
Yes, indeed.
I mean,
You got a little spatial awareness there. You got to extend your mind to, my hips are 80 inches.
And what you have to understand is every movement has to be overdone. So if I was waving at you, I'd wave like this. I'm waving you as Barney, I'm waving like this.
So you've got to, you're doing a big span with the way Barney wave.
Yeah, or otherwise.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hit you.
Yeah, otherwise with the fleece and everything involved, then it doesn't read.
You keep saying fleece. It was a fleece. That was what the fabric was. Was fleece.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We just call it the fleece. Yeah,
the fleece. What about the walk? How did you? I mean, was that hard to maneuver?
That was kind of signature. I think there weren't many things that I was told. These are things you got to do, kind of like another amusement park, Florida. They're very specific on what this character does and how they move, and there wasn't a lot of that. The walk was, this is how
there was on specific moves, on Stupendous and Terrific. They had specific jumps and things of that nature, and how you did that. And I told you my mom was my original choreographer
and cook.
and cook. But that was important because we're doing movements like an aerial 360 or a bell kick. If you don't do a bell kick right with a 50-pound costume on,
what is a bell kick?
You could snap a.
What do you mean by a bell kick?
I wish I could get up and do one.
But you want to, don't you?
But it's clicking your heel basically. So
okay.
In air, you're clicking your. Yeah, I do really bad. But yeah, you're in the air.
Okay, I get you.
You also got to think about your center of gravity is about right here.
Right at
because the head is
underneath.
Up here and most of the weight is up here too. So when you jump up sideways to do this kick, the costume wants to go down.
It wants to go down there.
Did that ever happen?
Quicker than normal. No, you just gotta. That was part of the fun of figuring out. Okay, how do I do this?
But it's a commitment level too. So when you go, I'm going to do this. If you don't do it, you can really hurt yourself. Same with the 360. Whip yourself. In a 360 aerial, you have to crank your hips and launch your body, and then hope you land it right and knock out children or something.
There is no spotting.
No.
When you do that spin, like you would normally whip that head around. You just, I hope I turn around here. Okay, shoo, I did.
Yeah, because you're blind, basically. I mean, you're blind pretty much.
So, Carey, do you still have a suit?
No, none of us have.
No suits.
None of us have suits.
What did you take with anything? What's your favorite little treasure, maybe besides your trophy, your battery trophy? Is there some kind of little treasure that you got from on the road? And
on the road.
Just on the road with Barney and. So Josh, what? His eyes are sparkling, and Carey's not sure what he's going to say.
What he's got?
I found a spare toe. From Barney.
Oh, yeah?
That's it. But I didn't bring it.
Oh.
Maybe one day I could show it to someone.
No, you know what mine has to be.
What?
I wish I had my award.
The wingnut? From the creature.
He was one of our crew members. And you have to remember, these were Rolling Stone rock and roll groupies working with...
Roadies, not groupies.
Roadies, excuse me.
You had groupies, though. I'm sure you did. Inside and out of that
We were
costume.
talking about this with groupies earlier, so sorry.
I can hear Creech now.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. But anyways, the Roadies were from the Stones in these big concerts, and then here we are with these actors. And so there was a lot of getting used to and learning each other's and the different lifestyles. And so at a rap party, Creech gave us a couple of us Wingnut Awards.
And what did that mean?
Wingnut was Creech's affectionate rib. You know, if you were getting on his nerves.
Yeah, he called you Wingnut.
He's an old school roadie from the 70s, and Bob Seger and everybody else.
And now
from
he's
there.
got Purple Dinosaurs, and
now Jake has asked him to come out and take care of this show, and he's like, "What? Are you crazy? Bunch of actors." He's from Dallas, as well as Florida. I think he lives in Florida now, but just, you know, big, loud, dynamic guy. Love you, Creech.
absolutely, and it's all in fun. I mean, we just became a huge family and got to learn how to work together, and I think we appreciated. You know, I'll speak from the cast side that we'd never seen anything like that, and to see what the crew did and how they took down that show and how they put that show up. I mean, unbelievable professionals, and how quick they could do it, but how safe they were, and what a team they worked, and even during the show, you know, set changes and things of that nature. And I think I know I gained deep respect for all of them.
Any good Carey stories for us?
You know, one of my favorite stories with Carey happened in Charlotte, North Carolina. Was it Charlotte?
Oh,
And,
see, this is what's fun, and you all of a sudden see a little smile on Carey's face.
Well, that's
a
'cause I
little
don't know where he's going with this, so,
because there are probably many. But
I have no idea where he's going with this.
Courtney mentioned it some last week, but one of the perks of the tour and having roadies and the producers that we had is they had connections with all the other acts. And many times we were in the same city or really close to another act. And in Charlotte, North Carolina, we were close to Aerosmith. And our bus driver was
Rockin' Randy, right?
Yeah. Oh, Randy.
Fabio, right?
Yes.
He had the hair work. He had the
Yes,
whole,
indeed.
yeah, he had the hair working.
Fabio,
We call him Fabio. He had the hair working.
So Randy knew somebody on Aerosmith. So everybody, right after our Barney show, no showers, no nothing, threw on clothes, hopped in our buses, and we drove over to their show, and we were able to go inside and get a free entry to the concert and watch it. And I just thought, that is so awesome. We'd done that a few other times, but to me, that was great to me, no problem. So we were sitting at the bus waiting for Randy to say his goodbyes and everything. And about that time, I hear Randy yell from the dressing towards the building. He's like, "Hey, Steven wants to meet Barney." And we all kind of looked at each other and, okay. And so we all walked over, and one by one, we walked into Steven Tyler's dressing room, and he took the time to meet everybody.
And you got a picture, didn't
look
you?
at there,
Look
yeah.
at those. That's
Me
you
and
too.
Carey. That's me, if you can believe it. I had hair.
Oh my
It was
God! No, you guys.
Brownish.
You were babies. So was Steven.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So, but that's what's amazing. So Steven Tyler is a Barney fan.
Oh yeah, he knew all about it.
His children were young at the time. Yeah, one of the great quick conversation we had with him there. He said, "Well, what'd you think of the show?" And he said something to me. It was awesome. Did you feel all those people screaming at you?
Yeah.
And he said to me, he goes, "Absolutely." He goes, "Well, you know what it's like." And I went, "Yeah, I kind of do. Thanks." He goes, "Let's take a picture." And you can see me fanboying there.
Well, and talking about his daughter.
Yeah.
His Liv, go
Tyler,
on.
right?
Yeah,
Okay,
Liv
you
Tyler.
can- we-
Yeah, no, I thought you were going to take it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Liv Tyler, and he's talking about it like it's just a child. We're
Right.
like, yeah, we know who
Liv-
she is. Yeah, we know who she is.
So that had to be fun, though, when you were out. Let's say you went out for a little bite to eat after a show. You're Carey, you're Josh, you're yourselves. And you're young, and you're in all these different cities, and you meet girls, and did you? They're like, hey, what are you doing in town? Well, I'm in the Barney show, or did you just say I just got out of Aerosmith? What did you say?
For me, one of the best parts about the job and being in a costume is that it's at your discretion. You know?
Yeah, because no one knows.
And no one knows. And so that worked at 21 in my favor a lot. I'm a roadie. And as a matter of fact, I kind of earned that a little bit because I got into loading out with the roadies while I was gigging. That was super fun.
I bet that was fun.
So fun. It was extra fun whenever our roadies would finally tell the local roadies that I had been in the costume all week, that they had been watching and handing me a violin. They had no idea, but at this time I was telling them, hey, take this crescent. This comes down, goes in that box. And I'm just telling it. And meanwhile, they're going, hey, man, which one's Barney? Which one of these Barney? That drape goes in that hamper. Push it to Harold. He'll tell you what to do. And then finally, I knew that Mo or someone had told him because they go, are you really Barney? I wear it sometimes. Now, push that crate. We're going against time. We're trying to break a record. Yes, indeed. I learned a lot. I loved it.
So, do you have any Josh stories, Carey? And they can be. You're always so sweet. They can be sweet stories.
Well, they are with him. I actually though I do have to tell one that is really on both of us. It's embarrassing to myself, but I'll tell it. So we went down to Miami. We were getting ready to go down to Miami, and we were going to do the show in Spanish. And so obviously we had to learn that script to be able to, because neither one of us speak Spanish. So we have
to hear your cue. I mean, right. So you've got your cues, and that's how you're hearing it inside the costume, and that's how you know so you have to do what you need to do.
Or if I blow a kiss, or I do a jump, or I'm about to introduce a kid, or a thing of that nature. And I think we were in Oakland before Miami, right? Weren't we in Oakland?
That one I don't remember.
I thought it was. But anyways, for that first night, the first show, I was number 2. And then he was going to be the lead. So I just learned the number 2 part. And someone might have hurt his ankle.
Oh, could that be number 2?
It could be no.
Oh, you hurt your ankle.
Number 1. And now number 2 had to become number 1. And so I had to cram all day.
Espanol.
In Espanol, yeah. And we were on the beach in Miami. I'm on the beach listening to Barney in Spanish with my script, quickly learning that movement.
Sorry.
So how did you hurt your ankle, Josh? Loading something, or what was that in your Barney suit?
Going to the beach. I stepped out of the car. We got all the way to the beach. I stepped out of the car and in the indention of a manhole that I didn't see. And I had bad soccer ankles. Now, 6 months ago, I got a new bionic replacement one. So.
Okay. Wow. So, but you had to cover Spanish Barney.
Yeah. Yes, which I did, but yeah, it was a good lesson to learn. But this is what we're talking about here. And this is why we're so close, because it was either him or me. I mean, that's all it was for that first year or the years that we went out, and you had to rely on each other so we could have fun and we could go out and we could do all those things. But it was one of us that was going to be out there every night in front of 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people. And you can't mail in that show. You can't mail that show in. Your heart's got to be there. Your body's got to be there. It's a commitment. It's a dedication. And he had it as much as I did. And so it makes it easy when we know we can count on each other 100%.
Agreed. 100%.
So how did, I mean, they were, formative years. You're in your 20s, basically, starting as a teenager.
No question.
How did that experience of being Barney, this whole world, all the good, how did that shape who you are today and what you're doing?
Completely. I mean, that was before that. I had moved to Dallas from Louisiana, and that was the first time away from home and all that. So that was pretty big. But I had no idea how naive and inexperienced I was until I went on the road. And I got a paid education for 3 years on the road. I mean, you couldn't pay an Ivy League school to take you on a field trip and learn what I learned in 3 years. It was, I mean, not just about acting or theater or the road, but about people and life and myself and what I like, what I don't like. A lot of times before then, it didn't matter what I liked or didn't like because I didn't have any money or, I was an acting student. I had to do whatever I had to do to survive. But now all of a sudden I had plenty of cash. I had that I needed. I didn't have any bills. I was on the road. I had carte blanche. I was taken care of. Nobody knew who I was. I didn't really have to, be extra cautious. Not that I was reckless, but you know what I mean. I could be who I wanted to be and explore that, and it was great. It was invaluable. And
you probably feel the same way. All the things that you did.
Absolutely. Yeah, the same for me. It was from Dallas. I had with Barney, I had traveled, but I haven't traveled in such a big way. We had a group there was 3 of us that would go and do a 20-minute sing-along, 3 times a day. And now all of a sudden we're doing this massive production. So you had to learn, to work together and you've got kids and parents and crew members and, we're doing special events and all these unbelievable appearances. And it was tough because I did it for 5 years. And it was hard and then I went and did the TV show, and it was hard that life's it's like the greatest life and the hardest life to live. I mean, it's tough because you're sleeping on a bus, and it doesn't stop, especially back then because we didn't have social media and internet. I mean, we had internet, but it was all.
What did you do on those? Was those the days you played VHS tapes, I guess? Watch movies on the bus? I mean, if you were... Wait a minute. Wait, what?
Yes, VHS tapes on the bus. Right. Yes.
We played games and stuff too. Remember doing that?
Yeah. We had a video game system on a couple of them, but we had fridges.
Yeah, but we were playing like card games and stuff.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Poker.
We didn't do much of that.
Barney poker.
I was on the crew bus, and we probably got about 12.
Well, no
13
wonder they
people
thought
in
you
back.
were the crew then. If you were on the crew bus.
Well, because I had been working with them before we got the buses, I was helping. Mm-hmm. One night I just decided I wasn't going to go back to the hotel. We had shuttle buses at then. We didn't have our tour buses yet. And I decided to stay at the arena and watch the boys load out. And one of them, after about the 3rd time walking past me, said, "What are you doing?" Just watching. Should I not be here? He goes, "Should be down here helping." And I go, "Can I?" He goes, "I don't see why not." I jumped. I was like, awesome. I grew up, TV, music, video generation, and, those classic videos of the time lapse of loading in the concert. It happens, the whole video happens, and then it gets loaded out at the end, and you're just in awe. Well, I was watching this in real life, and it made more sense, and it was more relevant to me because I was doing it. It's something that I could actually use in the future as well, and then I learned what tools were, and I could break stuff, if it happened, and there was, not break stuff, but you know what I mean. You could be it was steel, you didn't have to worry about you're at home and your dad wants you to help fix the car, and if you break it, you got no car, and what are you going to do? You know what I mean? It was like, I'll do it. All right, well, send the runner to get a new one tomorrow. I learned tons.
Did you know he was doing that while you were on the tour? I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. He loved it. Yeah, he loved it.
So, life after Barney. So
Yes.
you left. What happened?
Before I went on Barney, I was doing comedy troupes with my friends from school, like I mentioned, I think. And also, like I mentioned, after being on the road and I learned all these new skills and things, I just saw where I could apply a lot of those lessons. And I felt like I needed to try to do that, try to apply that, and try to do something else. And with the blessings, I know Sloan wasn't the happiest that I asked to not return, but
She was casting. You're part of the group.
She's a producer from Barney. Yes,
okay.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
she
My
cast
original
me originally. Yeah, she
boss.
cast Carey. I mean, just the sweetest lady ever. Love her. Can't wait to see her again sometime.
Well, she will be coming on very soon. So
you gotta watch that.
Very
one.
excited about that.
Oh my gosh, Sloan.
Yeah, very excited.
Hello. Tell me if I
Yes.
did a good Sloan.
Yeah.
All right, when you see her. Anyway.
Yeah. But when he says that, I also felt the same way. It was tough to see him go because we had a friendship and a bondship and working that together, and that's difficult because there's a commitment level that I can't even explain to you to do this show every night and how physical it is. And you've got to know you've got someone that can jump in. I remember we were in Anaheim, and I was finishing.
I wasn't gonna tell the story on you.
Well,
okay.
I was finishing up, and I had a costume mishap. We'll use it as that. And I could not
Use your imagination,
couldn't-
everybody.
It's not. I could not.
Not that bad.
Yeah, it was not that bad, but I couldn't. Yeah, wasn't that bad, but
Okay.
but I couldn't continue. Something with my mouth, and so. Josh, as I recall, you were already getting ready to go back to the
I had
hotel.
my street clothes, my jeans, T-shirt, tennis shoes on, ready to walk back.
So I give the signal, and he's got to quickly get in and come switch out for the end of the show. But I knew I could do that with Josh. I always knew I could do that. If something was bad, I didn't have to suffer through. And I would go as hard as I could, but there are some times, and that's why it was tough to lose him.
Well, of course, it seems though losing you puts you on a whole nother career path. And what's ironic is you were in the suit, you weren't the voice, but now you are a voice actor and a film actor and a television actor. You've got a great face, but your voice is amazing, and no one ever got to hear you as Barney.
Thank you. Well, no, well, not paid.
Oh.
Backstage, Carey was talking about me doing crazy voices and stuff, so we would have the show going in our ears all the time, so I heard that show a lot. And just me growing up, I'd always kind of mimic things and voices and stuff.
You used to do Austin Powers all the time and all.
Give us something. Give us a few little voices here. This is
Yeah,
great.
baby, yeah! I used to do Barney and Baby Bop and BJ
and now
talking
these
to
days-
each other. And now I do Dragon Ball Z.
Tell us about that. Tell us what's going on there.
I am Majin Buu.
Nancy.
Yes,
and
there's
we got a
there's
picture up if
picture
you want to
of
take a look at that. Oh,
me. Look,
wait,
I
which one?
hid
Which
Barney
one are you?
on my
Wait,
T-shirt there.
wait, where are you? Oh my! No, seriously, you have Barney on your T-shirt.
Yes,
And
right.
really and truly, in this anime that you do.
No.
No,
but
I
just
just
in
hid
this-
that. That's my character card. I do
okay.
all those character voices. And since I was in the costume, that's just like a little secret Easter egg that
I love
people have to look for there.
I love it. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So, what voice is that?
The big fat pink one is Majin Buu. He's like, yes. Yes, I was performing in a comedy troupe after I came off the road, and I did a character called the Pillsbury Homeboy. The backstory is the Pillsbury Doughboy gets jumped by the Keebler Elves, turns into a gangster rapper. Right.
I love that.
So, I did the Pillsbury Doughboy, and he was kind of rude.
Do you think
Reading
do you
crafts.
think you would have done what you're doing today? I mean, yeah, you probably would have, but would it have been a little harder maybe if it hadn't been for Barney? You know.
Yes, no, absolutely. Because I told Carey this before. As an actor, you get a script for a play, and you work on that script, and and even when you do it over and over, you find new things. And I had the luxury of finding new things all the time, but being able to be like super crazy in this costume because you had to be able to show that kid way up in the rafters that you're pointing to him, even though you can't see him. You know, you got to make him think those dance moves are for him and her and the parents and everybody else. So, you know, that helped me learn what being big on stage is like. I was able to listen to professionals like Bob West and Julie Johnson, Patty Ward.
Julie did the voice of Baby Bop, and Patty did the voice of BJ.
Dean Went, you know, all these. Barry Pearl. I got to watch all these professionals, and I did my best to keep my eyes open, mouth shut, eyes and ears open, and pay attention. And luckily, I was able to take some things with me.
Well, and he's got another side job that he.
Yes, I also get to do a Beastie Boys tribute band.
Okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Pray tell.
Yes.
Come on, what's this?
Rhymin' and Stealin' is our Beastie Boys tribute band. I get to do MCA's part.
Well, can you rap us a little bit here?
Sure. If you can feel what I'm feeling, then it's a musical masterpiece. Hear what I'm dealing with, then that's cool at least. What's running through my mind comes through in my walk. True feelings are shown from the way that I talk. And this is me, y'all. I MC, y'all. My name is MCA, and I still do what I please. And now I'd like to introduce. I pass the mic to Nancy for a fistful of truth.
That is my truth. That's amazing. So, I mean, do you tour with that, or you go?
We go everywhere they'll have us. Yeah, House of Blues, Dallas. We'll be in Austin, 310 live.
Well, and you missed. There's a couple pictures that went up of them.
Oh my gosh! There we go.
Oh,
Here we
yeah.
are. Look.
How about those? What do you think of those
That's in New
images?
York.
Aren't those nice?
No, that's very cool.
You know who took those images?
Could it be one Carey Stinson, photographer?
Yes, indeed. He knows
no
it.
Kidding.
Yeah,
He has been doing this since we started back in 2009.
Look at that.
Just crazy.
Years
It's been
this
that
year,
long.
right?
Yeah, I've been with these guys, and it's been so much fun.
I had no idea.
So much fun.
The two Barneys. I am so lucky that had you all sitting here for this special show. Would you ever want to do the tour again? I mean, given our ages, but I mean, is that something that if somebody said, you know what, we're going to do one reunion tour, we're all going to get back together, and we're going to get on stage and put on the costume. Oh my God, nobody's talking.
I would love to. I think my 6-month-old bionic ankle would not cooperate at this very point. Although I'm working back to it. It might be a goal. Might be a goal I could get into.
Do your Beastie Boy fans, do they know anything about your Barney past? The guys, I'm sure, do.
The guys do.
The guys do.
Some of the people, some of the fans do. Not a lot.
Well, they will. I mean, now it's out there.
The people who dig, it's not that hidden.
Okay, it shouldn't be.
Nah,
it should never be
no.
because it's okay. So the Barney magic is real. I think that's how I want to just kind of leave us with that. Is the Barney magic real?
Any questions?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's real, and we're seeing it, Nancy, as this podcast has come back from all these fans. As you're seeing it.
I know.
It's just incredible how much they touched them, and it touched us. And yes, the answer is I would jump back in that costume in a heartbeat, right. Because it's a privilege to get to do that and to see those kids. And absolutely, I would do it again.
It's a privilege just to meet you, Josh, work with Carey, and have all of these wonderful people. The fans, everyone is wonderful, and we want to make sure that everybody, now you know it's purpletalespodcast.com.
I got it subscribed and saved and liked and everything.
There you go. Wherever you get your podcasts or your videos, whatever, you will find us. Thank you for allowing me to be sitting between two Barneys. This is the best.
My brother, thank you so much.
Thank you
for coming here. And Nancy, he's coming back. Don't worry about that. We
absolutely.
will have him back again. There's a lot more to tell.
I love this. You're great.
Thank you. You are.
Oh, this is so fun.